Okay, so have you ever wondered if doing good and simply feeling good are actually the exact same thing? I mean, to our conscious minds, buying an amazing new pair of shoes or, say, volunteering at a local shelter might both give us this fantastic rush of positive emotion, right? On the surface, they look completely identical. But here is a truly wild hook for you. Down at the microscopic level, your immune system can totally tell the difference. No joke. Your body knows exactly why you're happy, and it reacts in wildly different ways. To understand this, we've got to distinguish between two fundamentally different types of happiness. First up, we have hedonic well-being. This is the happiness derived from self-gratification. Chasing pleasure, buying things, achieving status. Think of your stereotypical flashy celebrity lifestyle. Then, on the flip side, we have eudaimonic well-being. This is the kind of happiness that comes from having a deep sense of purpose and meaning in life. The profound fulfillment someone like Mother Teresa might have felt. And a really fascinating study from UCLA Health discovered something totally counterintuitive. Even if people report feeling the exact same high levels of positive emotion, our DNA can actually tell the difference between that shallow pleasure and that deep, meaningful happiness.
Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today. Our core goal here is to explore the profound, scientifically proven connections between our minds, our daily lifestyles, and our physical bodies, literally all the way down to the genetic level. We're going to see how the choices you make every single day don't just change your mood, they actually rewrite the way your body functions. It's a real game changer.
Here's a quick roadmap of how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the genetics of happiness, then move to rewiring the brain, the 6 lifestyle pillars, the healing power of nature, and finally, your daily well-being toolkit.
All right, diving right into section 1, the genetics of happiness, and how your DNA actually responds to joy.
So there's this thing called CTRA. It stands for Conserved Transcriptional Response to Adversity. That's a massive mouthful, I know, but in plain English, it just means that when human beings go through extended periods of stress, threat, or uncertainty, our bodies go through a systematic shift. Basically, our immune cells crank up the expression of genes involved in inflammation, and they shut down the genes involved in antiviral responses. It's like our body taking a defensive posture. But, and this is the crazy part, the UCLA researchers found something shocking. People with high eudaimonic, or purpose-driven happiness, had really favorable immune profiles with low inflammation. But people with high hedonic, or purely pleasure-driven well-being, they actually showed the exact opposite. High levels of purely hedonic happiness triggered the exact same adverse inflammatory response in our immune cells as chronic stress. This whole concept is summed up perfectly by Dr. Stephen Cole. He was the senior author of that UCLA study, and he noted that the human genome is much more sensitive to different ways of achieving happiness than our conscious minds. His team examined blood samples from 80 healthy adults to map out these distinct biological effects. Now, consciously, the folks with hedonic happiness didn't feel any worse than the eudaimonic group. They all felt absolutely great. But their genomes were responding in entirely different ways. Doing good and simply feeling good literally have vastly different effects on your DNA.
Let's shift gears a bit. Section 2, rewiring the brain and the shift to positive psychology.
So traditionally, clinical psychology has acted a little bit like a mechanic, digging around in a patient's past just to fix symptoms when something breaks. But positive psychology, it completely flips the script. Instead of just trying to fix deficits, it explores the present to build on your existing strengths. It promotes happiness and resilience whether you have a diagnosed clinical condition or not. It's this incredibly empowering way to approach mental health because you're looking entirely forward instead of backward. And to make this shift happen, mental health professionals are using a whole new toolkit. They might use strengths-based therapy to help you unlock the capabilities you already have, or quality of life and hope therapies to help you pursue deeply meaningful, fruitful goals. It's all about proactive well-being, using tools like journaling and self-expression to clear out mental blocks before they ever take root, rather than just sitting around waiting for problems to appear. Moving right along to Section 3, the 6 lifestyle pillars and building physical resilience. It's getting serious when the American Psychiatric Association starts treating lifestyle as medicine.
Their 6 core pillars function as a holistic prescription. We're talking about fueling your body with a Mediterranean diet and regular physical activity, while actively calming your nervous system through mindfulness and restorative sleep. And crucially, it also means fostering deep social connections, because isolation is literally as toxic as smoking, and avoiding harmful substances. When you bring these 6 behaviors together, they create this incredible foundation that can actually rival traditional medicine in preventing and treating mental health conditions. Just look at the sheer scale of how people are adopting this. Get this, in 2023 alone, an estimated 33 million Americans practiced yoga. 33 million. That is a massive movement toward mind-body practices, and the science absolutely backs it up. Practices like yoga have been shown to literally change the structure and function of brain regions, specifically the ones involved in emotion regulation and managing stress. But here's the reality check. We still have an urgent need for intervention because over 70 million Americans experience sleep disorders every single year. Poor sleep leads to fatigue, irritability, and problems focusing. But even more deeply, it contributes to and actively exacerbates mental health issues. So modifying our screen time and creating consistent nighttime routines, absolutely vital to fixing this pillar. Next up, Section 4, the healing power of nature and the connection between our environment and our health. Okay, this brings us to a beautiful, awe-inspiring concept called Shinrin-yoku. It translates to forest bathing. It's the practice of simply immersing yourself in a forest atmosphere, really sharpening your senses to the sights, the sounds, and the smells of nature. Researcher Helga Synnöve makes a great point here. Humans have only very recently moved indoors. Evolutionarily speaking, we belong outside. This return to our roots is so deeply effective at lowering stress and cortisol levels that the knowledge from this research has actually been integrated into standard medical treatment in Japan. No way, right? So, biologically, here is why getting out into nature is just so vital. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol that negatively affects your immune system and creates low-grade inflammation. And that inflammation, it literally forms the basis for most chronic diseases. But participating in activities that promote quality of life, like practicing optimism, showing gratitude, and spending time in nature, actually acts as a biological antidote to all of that. It lowers your cortisol and therefore directly reduces that physical inflammation. And finally, Section 5, your daily well-being toolkit and the steps you can take today. I absolutely love this concept to start with exercise snacks. These are just brief episodes of movement interspersed throughout your day. You do not need to punish yourself with 2 exhausting hours at the gym. It could literally just be doing some jumping jacks while your coffee is brewing or deciding to take the stairs instead of the elevator. This one simple daily habit easily fulfills the APA's physical activity pillar. Plus, breaking up your sedentary tasks with little exercise snacks every hour or so has been reported to significantly improve your attention and focus. Win-win. So how do we tie all of this together to actively foster that deep eudaimonic happiness we talked about? Well, start by literally counting your blessings to build a solid foundation of gratitude. As you move through your day, actively try to learn from negative experiences to build up your resilience. Make sure you're protecting those physical pillars, your diet, your sleep, and getting in those exercise snacks. And lastly, just keep a simple journal to monitor your mood. This builds the self-awareness you need to recognize what truly triggers your joy. It completely aligns those APA guidelines with positive psychology. We've seen today how our conscious choices ripple all the way down into our brains, our immune systems, and our very DNA. Pursuing a life of meaning and gratitude doesn't just feel good, it physically heals you from the inside out. So my final provocative thought for you to leave with today is this. Knowing that your DNA is quite literally listening to your lifestyle, what small step will you take today to thank your genes? Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.